Hey you guys, and welcome back to another Destiny 2 video where today we are going over the Warden of Nothing Grandmaster Nightfall Strike. Now, I'm just going to keep it simple and short. Like the video if you like it, comment some stuff that you guys did to make it easier, and of course subscribe for future content. Now let's just get right into this guide. Upon loading into this Grandmaster, you're going to just be met with a long hallway as the opening with a handful of red bar ads that you're going to have to deal with. My teammates, took care of them because I was dealing with some stuff aside. So just move forward until you get to the big area where all of the beginning prison cell type things are. Upon entering this area, you're going to be met with a bunch of just general enemies, a bunch of red bar Vex, a few Scions I believe will pop out of the containment, if not it's still just more Vex, and a singular Overload Minotaur. Now, this is pretty easy to deal with as it's just one champion and a handful of red bar ads, but once you get them dealt with, you can move on into the train area where people tend to like to get absolutely demolished by trains. Once you get the door open, you're going to have one little tiny red bar who thinks he can stand up to an entire team of guardians, and you're going to hack this console and you can jump up around the train like you see here for a quick little shortcut, or just wait for it to drive by and then walk down the rails normally. Now, while walking down these rails, you're going to have to jump to your left and right hand sides while also dealing with red bar ads. This way you do not get destroyed by these trains because they are completely physics based and the architect is the strongest thing in this game. Once you get to the end of that first rail section, you will now have to deal with another rail section. There's a little goblin on the right hand side. Take care of him so he doesn't snipe you as you are driving down here. You're going to hop on your Sparrow and then just drive down the rail while also avoiding trains, as again, they will absolutely destroy you. When you get to the end of this section, destroy these barrels. They will kill you. They're very strong. Environmental stuff is the thing that brings people back to orbit the most, including myself. In this area, you're going to have to deal with red bars, a Vex Hydra, and an unstoppable Cabal champion. Now what you can do is you can bait the Cabal champion down, so this way he's a little easier to deal with, so you don't have to push up so far. I highly recommend dealing with the Vex Hydra that's right to the right on the first, and then, start working on the champion and the other red bar ads that are in this section. Once you get past all those ads, you're going to push up to another train rail section, where you are then met with a few red bars and a barrier hobgoblin. Take care of this hobgoblin, team shot it, he's by himself, he's really easy to take care of. Once he is dealt with, you're going to jump up onto the rails on either the left or right hand side, completely up to you, and you're going to run down these rails and be met with more champions. When you get down here, you're going to be having an unstoppable champion who should rush you out from underneath these little rails. Take care of him. Try not to get killed by him, as you're probably going to see me do in this clip here. I can't remember what kills me here, but we're going to watch. Okay, yeah. Okay, it's the backpack. Love Cabal Incinerator backpacks. Either way, take care of him, have your friendlies grief you a little bit, and then take care of the barrier champion that is going to be at the end of this little section. Once he is dealt with, you can jump up to the next section where you're going to deal with basically a Vex boss and barrier champions that will completely snipe your face off if you're not careful. Once you get up here, clear out this little room, and it's going to give you a nice safe space to hide when you start dealing with those two barrier champions. One of these barrier champions are going to spawn on the left hand side on that little platform you see, and the other one is going to spawn on your right hand side on a little ledge. Now, I'm going to put the clip in here because honestly it's kind of funny, is these things have the best aim ever and Bungie should sue them for perfect aiming. Because quite frankly, I get sniped here like 4 or 5 times and never once do I shoot with my friendlies to deal with one of them. So, first tip with this room. Team shot with your allies and abuse cover more effectively. Now that we've got that taken care of and we have beat these barrier goblins, we are going to move up to where that left-handed goblin is, and we're going to use this place to take cover and try to fight what's left for ads. Be careful because some of them will push you, and we're going to then deal with the boss. Now, when dealing with this boss, it is best to just use supers, use heavies, use whatever you want, and not waste your blade barrage into a train track trussel rail thing and then die and have your friendlies have to use a res on you. Now once you get past that part, it's going to open a door to a gravity lift. You're going to go up it. It's a long tube for no real reason, I guess. I don't know, trying to take up space. Once you get up here, you're going to see a few Cabal probably walk across the window, and you're going to go to the door that is on your right hand side. This door is going to open up, and you're going to have a bunch of red bars to deal with. They're going to come out of the pods on your right hand side, and they are going to be unstoppables that try to rush you through that main big door. Now, once you get one unstoppable taken care of, there's going to be another unstoppable champion in here. So make sure that you and your friendlies have unstoppable ready to go for this, because they can be quite annoying. Once your unstops are dealt with, you can push up into this room and go to the next little gravity elevator to the mine area, where a lot of people get caught up in this particular strike because it can be a pain if it is done incorrectly and not communicated as a team on who's going where and who's doing what. Now, once you get up here, you are gonna have a bunch of champions to deal with, but ignore them for the time being, or at least have one of your teammates ignore them, and they are gonna go run around and destroy all the little like fallen mines that they have. Destroy them, as later on they could get in the way quite a bit. Now, while that's happening, you and your other teammate are going to start picking away at these champions and adds that are in the center of this room, as defeating them is what procs the next thing to happen. There's going to be 3 barrier champions, a Colossus and 2 hobgoblins, an overload minotaur, and an unstoppable incinerator. There's a lot of champions. Work with your team and get rid of them. Once all these champions have been dealt with, you're going to be presented with a scorch cannon. Leave that there for later. When the first mine shows up, it's going to be basically, you're going to see it on screen, it's right in the middle. There's going to be a barrier hobgoblin that comes out of the door on the right hand side. Take care of that goblin as fast as possible, because right after him, there is going to be an unstoppable incinerator. Take care of them both and step on the mine. Now, the key thing here is delaying that first mine as much as possible. You have, I believe it's 30 seconds, 40 seconds, something like that. You have a fair bit of time, and when you step on it, the timer stops ticking down. So deal with these champions, and then step on and off the mine regularly to keep it from progressing, allowing you plenty of time to deal with these 2 champions. Now, when this mine has been captured, 2 more mines are going to show up. One on the left-hand side and one on the right-hand side. What you're going to do is you're going to send whoever is the most confident person on your team to the left-hand side, because they are going to be by themselves, going to the B mine. You and your other teammate are going to the C mine, and you're going to deal with the Vex that are there. Once you capture both of these mines, there is going to be a big Cabal boss that spawns in the center. Now, you remember how I said leave the Scorch Cannon? This is where you're going to use the Scorch Cannon. Use the Scorch Cannon to help you take out this boss, so this way you don't have to use as much heavy and as much super, because you're going to need all the heavy and super you can have when you get into the boss arena. After you beat that Cabal boss, you're going to drop down into the treasure room. Now, there used to be a bug where if everybody sat on that chest that you have to open up, that you will all die, or most of your team will die. I don't know if that's been fixed, but just to be safe, have one person activate the chest and fall down that gravity lift, so that this way you have no potential of going back to orbit or just having to waste a res that is needless. Once you get down to the bottom of this lift, in the boss arena, there is going to be 4 champions, I believe. 2 Gob, 2 Barrier, an Overload, and an Unstoppable. Deal with them from this little platform, because this way it's going to be easy to deal with instead of having to deal with 4 champions all at once. Now, once you defeat that final champion, the boss encounter is actually going to start. Now, there are 2 ways to do this. We take the approach of absolutely melting this boss before he even has a chance to do anything, which is honestly 9 times out of 10 the most preferred method, because dragging this fight out is a pain. You have to use cover, fight a bunch of adds that spawn, and it's just really hard because of solar burn and the boss's solar flare ability. So burst it down as fast as possible. We ran Blade Barrage, Night Stalker. We'll go over the loadouts here in just a few seconds, but that's what we ran to really sum this up and bring it home. And then once you're done, all that loot's gonna pile up on your screen and you'll be good to go. Now, when this Nightfall actually drops, I do believe it is going to be plug 1. So there's that to look forward to. Now let's take a look at the loadouts. As far as loadouts are concerned, this strike can be a bit tricky, as it's one of the few that has all 3 particular champions in them. So with that, try to split it up between your team. Have 2 Barrier, 2 Unstop, and 2 Overload just in case things go a little crazy. For my loadout, I use Blade Barrage Super, New Purpose Pulse Rifle for Barrier, Prometheus Lens for Overload and to feed back into my solar stuff, Cataclysmic as it is solar burn, and I tried running the exotic Aether's Embrace for a little build so that this way you can get unstoppable champion knives with Withering Heat. It was fun, but it wasn't that useful. You just run a scout rifle or a glaive, you're going to get more out of it. My second teammate ran the Mobius Quiver Super on Night Stalker for the debuff for just general ads and bosses. Arbalist for Barrier Champion, Gnawing Hunger for Overload, which he said was absolutely awful. And Cataclysmic once again because it is solar burn. And he used Omnioculus because it is literally best in slot for a Void Hunter's teamwork playability. It's just really, really good. And my final teammate ran Shards of Galanor with Blade Barrage, Peace of Mind for Barrier Champions, a Blinding Grenade Launcher for a little bit of utility, and Galahorn. This is a solar burn strike, so Galahorn is going to be the king if you do not have linear fusion rifles like Cataclysmic. It was very, very good. And honestly, if you don't have an exotic, use Galahorn if you have it. It is one of the best heavies in the game for this strike. Now, with that being said, that is the end of the guide, the loadouts, all that good stuff. So to keep it sweet, simple, and short, have fun getting your plug ones, and I hope everybody enjoys their week.